So your lead vocal isn't quite cutting through all of the music on your track. It feels a bit quiet, but it looks like it's the right kind of volume, but it not really kind of cutting through. Especially if you want to have the detail, you want it to feel like it's nice and intimate and up close. So if your vocal doesn't feel like it's loud enough, then why can't you just turn it up and solve the problem? Well, I'm going to show you the difference between a vocal that's just been turned up and a vocal that's using well-structured compression, just so you can hear the difference in how they behave and how they cut through. I think one of the main reasons anyone uses compression is so that a vocal or an instrument, like a lead instrument for example, is going to cut through and stay present in a tune. But you can use compression just to boost volume, but sometimes you'll actually be using compression for other reasons as well. It's not just about volume, it's about clarity, it's about detail, and it's about allowing a vocal to feel like it's right there, and it's not, you're not missing any details, you're not missing any little words or expressions. In this song here, it's by Beth Sarah. I mixed it for her. She recorded it herself, and I did some mixing and production. I've just set this example up here. I've got one vocal with no compression, and I've just cranked the volume. It's the same level as the compressed vocal. And I'm going to play that, and then I'm going to play the compressed vocal so you can hear the difference. So here we go. Cool. Sounds nice. I mean, what I'm thinking is I can hear the vocal, but it's just a bit far away. And that mix, the guitars and stuff seem like, the piano and stuff seems like it's actually the loudest thing. So let's listen to the one with compression. I think you'll agree that the one that is compressed, it feels up close. It feels like you can hear the vocal. Obviously, I've added some spatial effects and reverb and some other things going on, but the actual main vocal is right there. That's why compression is a great way of boosting volume, but it's doing way more than just volume boosting. Compression is about dynamics, and this vocal is very consistently sung. If you look at the waveform, they're like arrows, they kind of start off with a little bit of a expression and they tail off here. They get quiet at the end of each phrase, especially these last two phrases here. So any detail at the end of these phrases, as the volume decreases, if there's any like breath or any syllables in the no compressed version, they're kind of not really getting heard. As it tails off, the other music gets in the way and you kind of lose it. So I'm just going to show you again the actual compression. You can use Logic stock plugins for this, probably like 6 or 7 different Logic compressor models. All of their different models are actually emulations based off hardware like this, and so you'll find that there's one that actually is meant to be in the 1176 and there's one that's meant to be in the A2A. Normally by the look of the knobs on them you can tell they design the knobs the same way. Anyway, so the compression is happening as the voice kicks in, and then as the voice gets quieter, the compression reduces because I've set the release to be fast and I've set the attack to be slow. So I'm not squashing the vocal, and as it tails off, the compression does less, which is what we want. We don't want it to be, if I had it the other way around and the compressor was doing loads the whole time, we just end up with a completely flat sound, and it would be a bit kind of unnatural. And then what I'm doing with the second compressor, what I'm using for my volume boost is the gain knob on the compressor. So we've got the peak reduction, which is how the compressor is actually leveling the signal, and it's only doing a soft amount. It's only really going to -3 dB, and this has got a fixed attack and release, this compressor, so it's a really nice, gentle, very musical, nice and gentle. And my volume boost really is coming from here. Turn it down. What we're actually turning up here is we're turning up the compressed signal. So we're actually boosting a nice leveled signal rather than boosting a dynamic signal, and that's what allows it to sit in the mix better. So all in all, my recommendation is if you're working with vocals that feel like they're a bit far away and you want them to be really, really intimate, which isn't every vocal, don't just turn the volume up to hear that. You want to use compression like this, and I would say copy similar settings, and you'll be on your way to doing a really good job of that. And let me know if you have any questions. I appreciate this is a little bit nerdy, but hopefully it's useful. I do a lot of vocal mixing, and work with stuff that's very punchy, like rap vocals. I work with ballads, and I've worked with folk music, and there are different ways of treating vocals. This was just a good example of showing you a way of making a really nice, soft, dreamy vocal feel nice and present.